Hi, I'm Dr. Linda Mintle. Hey, thanks for listening to the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. Faith radio podcasts are only possible because of your support. Thanks for giving and for sharing with a friend.
Doing life together, reaching out with hope, encouraging one another, each step along the road. You and I can make everything a little better, doing life together.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. I'm your host, Dr. Linda Mintle, the relationship doctor, and I'm here along with my co-host, the other Dr. Mintle, my husband, Norm. And every weekend we are here and we are doing life together. And as always, we're so glad that you've joined us.
Yeah, you could come here and be with us in the studio if you'd like, but you know what? I don't even want to be here.
You know what? I feel like I'm going to sneeze anytime now. My allergies right now are so bad.
I know.
And so I might just let go at some point here as we're talking.
Just go for it.
Can you hear it in my voice?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
It's
It's just so bad right now. Whatever's blooming is blooming.
Well, I don't want to be here because I'd rather be on vacation.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, I can say an amen to that.
The good news is we have done a lot of vacationing, traveling during our time together in life with kids, without kids. And so we thought, you know what? Let's do a podcast on the pitfalls to avoid on your family vacation. Too bad we're not live. It'd be fun to hear what other people do and don't do and their ideas.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can save somebody a few headaches and some bad times and maybe some dollars.
Yeah, way back when we started the podcast, we used to have the capability to have call-ins.
Right.
And that was years ago, probably a decade ago when we started doing this.
Yeah.
It's always fun to hear what people have to say. But I'm really glad we're talking about this topic because I think we've learned some things from the mistakes that we've made over the years.
Right.
And all in all, we have avoided a lot of the issues we're going to talk about, and we've built some good memories. But that's the point. We want you to have really good memories, and we want you to have family vacations that are actually fun, not a dread. So, Norm, what was your favorite vacation of all the things we've done?
First time to Italy. First time we've been there 3 times.
I know.
First time.
I think
that wins.
I think that's mine too.
Yeah.
I think that magical Tuscany sun and the food and the people and the beauty
and the history and the art. And
it was so
Italy
good.
is just so magnificent.
It is.
I'd move there if I could.
I know.
I really
I'm
would.
not sure about how
I don't
well
think it's real easy, but
yeah. But that is mine too. So we have the same one. And we've been a lot of places in the world. I mean, you've been to China, and I've been to Switzerland and France, and like all over the place. But I would agree. I think that Italy one just was the best.
I think so.
We stayed in a 12th century town.
A 12th century walled town.
City, yeah.
And the people we were with had built out apartments inside the wall.
It was
that surrounded the city.
unreal, wasn't it?
So
we were
cool.
living with the locals who we could not understand at all, but it was really fun. And they had some very good restaurants in that little town.
Well,
So
I think every restaurant in all of Tuscany is probably fabulous.
that's probably true.
Okay, now I'm going to get hungry. So
Okay.
All right, let's get into this
All
whole
right,
thing.
all right,
here.
let's do it.
This first one, and we're talking about pitfalls, seems important to me. And that is if you need to make sure that you engage your entire family in the planning of your vacation. Why is that?
I think that is a really good idea because I think it'll save you a lot of conflict and fighting later if you can do this on the front end. Psychologically, it just gets buy-in from everybody. People get excited, they anticipate, and you can talk about what do we want to see. And a lot of times we will get books or we'll look
Yep,
online
right.
and see where we want to go, what activities we want to do. Sometimes we have to talk about excursions, where we're going to stay. I think the more planning you do on the front end, the better it's going to be for the vacation.
We've gone on vacations with other couples, sometimes without children, and typically they're kind of like leaving it all up to us, like we're the tour guys. So
It's true.
as a producer by trade, that's good for me.
Yeah, you like that, don't you?
Planning is key, It
It is.
diminishes those complaints and potential conflicts because you've planned things out and everybody's at least agreed to it, even if they didn't participate in the planning part. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be flexible. In fact, flexibility is just a given in the vacationing world because in our experience, while you can plan all you want, there are things that pop up you can't anticipate.
And sometimes those are good things when they kind of come up. I remember this trip we made out west when I was a kid. So we all got in this big Buick that my dad had. three of us.
They were big cars back then, weren't they?
Three of us children in the back seat,
Yep.
and then my parents
Wow.
in the front. And my dad decided we're just going to drive. And we're just going to stop whenever. And we're going to stop at whatever looked interesting along the way. So we were going from Michigan to California.
Wow.
So this is a very long drive. And sometimes that worked. We stopped at really interesting places. But and sometimes we would, take a family vote and say, no, we don't want to stop on that. But one time, we just could not find a place to stay. And we drove and drove and
Summertime motels in those days were probably hard to get.
And we were cranky. And I think some planning there could have helped.
Yeah, probably. All right, well, that takes us to a pitfall. Plan to take plenty of snacks and food with you in the car.
Yes, yes.
And
if you
even
have
on the
children.
plane, for that matter.
Yeah.
Inevitably, the kids will get cranky. And you've learned, as we have, and I'm sure our audience has, that buying food on the run can sometimes be expensive.
Yeah, if you're on a budget, that's not a good
Right.
thing, right? So
And I know you're going to tell us we need to get healthy snacks.
that's right. How did you know?
Yeah, how did I know?
Or, just allot some time to stop and
Right.
refresh with a light meal.
That's what I like to do. I don't like to, you always say, should we take this? I go, no, let's just stop. I need to stretch.
The problem with that is the options are not always great.
No, that's true.
Especially when you're in a very rural part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you don't stop and you don't have food, at least take some snacks in the car because
water at
kids
least.
need something.
Right.
And yeah, water. So think of hydration. I've seen people faint on planes.
Wow.
Because they've had a lot of alcohol and then they're drinking like sodas and stuff and they're not getting hydrated and then they get really sick. So it's just I think it's a mentality with sometimes when people are on planes. If they're sitting in a place where they can order drinks and it's free, they just keep doing it.
No matter what time of day.
Yeah, I mean, I see people at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, are you an alcoholic?
Yeah, really.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
So, if you drink a lot of coffee, you drink a lot of alcohol, which I hope you don't, you can get dehydrated. So drink water while you're traveling.
That's straightforward.
Okay.
Here's one with which we've had mixed results. That is deciding when to plan your vacation. Have you chosen a particular month or season? Great idea to check the weather of that season ahead of time. We've spent way too many days in very intense heat because we made the wrong choice.
Oh, two of them come to mind.
Yes.
Two of our vacations. We should have given more thought to that. The third time we went to Italy, we went in the middle of July. It was so hot.
Well, both times, the first and the last time so far, we were there at the wrong time. It was intense heat.
Yeah, but the second time, it just seemed like it was worse.
Every
the third
day
time,
was-
it was
yeah,
worse.
yeah.
It was just, and we were in that walled city with no air conditioning.
No AC, no.
So it was bad. And then, do you remember when we went to Cabo in the summertime?
It was so hot we had a hurricane.
We just stayed in the water. We had
Yeah.
a pool, and the kids had fun. They were parasailing and doing really fun stuff on the water, but that extreme heat it took it out of me. I thought, this is not the time to go.
On the other hand, when we were in the UK, it was cold and rainy in June.
Yeah, well, they told me, I went to some restaurant and I was saying something about, it is so cold. And it literally rained every day, I think
Yeah,
we were there.
I think so.
And I said, I don't get it. It's June. She goes, oh, no, you have to come July, August. So I said, are you
Okay.
serious? She goes, no, those are the only 2 months you can probably guarantee that you will have. But I think the best ones we ever did were the winter cruises that we went on, to the Caribbean and the southern states.
But Florida is tricky.
It is tricky. A lot of people from the north, like when I lived in Michigan, I thought, oh, I'm going to go to Florida in the winter and, the northern part of Florida. And the water's cold and the weather's cold. So that didn't work out so well.
What was your best ever weather-wise?
I think the best one we had was when we went to Spain in early October.
Yeah, it was just before the rainy season and the cold started.
Perfect weather. And then Maine in summer
Yeah, I
is
don't know.
another
There are
one.
too many mosquitoes in Maine
No,
in
I
summer.
loved it, though. I thought it was really great.
Holy Land. Okay, I've been to the Holy Land 6 times. Mostly not vacation. In fact,
You were
never
working.
vacation. I was working.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can promise you this, if you're going to the Holy Land, please consider spring or fall. Summers there are also brutal. Brutal hot.
And there's a reason, Norm, that cruises are cheap in the
That's
fall
right.
because of hurricane
Season in the
You might
Caribbean.
look out.
Right.
You might luck out, I should say. You should look out and luck out. But you might luck out and get a nice week, but you're always in danger of that. So we're just saying you could have a much better vacation if you plan it according
Right.
to the
Right.
seasons. All right. Sometimes we tied work events to vacation, and that worked out really well. We've got a lot of places where we've done really fun things, and usually the conferences are cheaper, so you can do a few things.
You can
and,
piggyback
Yeah.
work and then stay
Yeah.
a few extra days.
and
or
those are
something.
fun. I mean, when
Right.
we went to Boston, we did the Freedom Trail. It was fabulous.
spectacular.
It was a fun time.
Yep. We were in Palm Springs one time in the winter, which was a great time to be there. We were in France in spring, and although those conference rates are cheaper, it's because the organizers are smart and they figured out when it's the best time to go.
Yeah, it was great. All those vacations were great. But you don't want to go to Chicago
No.
in January.
No.
I
No,
had
no,
a
no.
conference there, and I was like, no, I'm not going.
No, in fact, you don't want to be there anytime from December through March.
Yeah. All right.
I
So
promise you.
here's another one. Let's talk.
Okay.
Let's talk about another one. Overpacking.
Oh, you're talking to yourself now.
Well, I don't think I'm as bad as a lot of people that I've seen.
Oh, no. We've traveled with people who took so much
Multiple
luggage.
suitcases.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
overpack, and then they have to lug it all around. And, it gets really old when you're having to transport all that luggage everywhere you go.
Our daughter's probably the best. She has really learned. She loves to travel, and she has learned to. She got that vacuum thing, so she
Yeah.
can vacuum seal all her clothes in these bags, these plastic bags, and fit everything in there.
She can like go for 10 days and have a carry-on.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the best. And I've heard a lot of people will buy cheap underwear and like T-shirts, and then they just wear them and leave them.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, so they just
Yeah.
get over there, buy something cheap.
That
and
way
then
you
they
can
leave.
buy all the souvenirs you want, right?
Yeah, and then you have room in your suitcase. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. But I always get cracked up when I see like kids getting onto planes and they have like this blanket and this toy and the stuff on their head, and I'm like, it looks like they're going to be somewhere for like weeks.
Yeah, right.
When they get
Right.
on there, it's a lot to take care of, and so I think, maybe you just got to scale it all down.
I think you're right. Here's another no-no: when you don't leave enough time for connections, and this is for when you're flying. If you look at a flight itinerary and it's cheap, look at the time
in between. Yeah,
it's called connection time, and it's posted online, and sometimes it says 50 minutes, and if you're in certain airports, there's no way on God's green earth you're going to make the next flight.
Yeah, that happened to our friends, and we were meeting them in Spain, and they lost a whole day because they had a really short connection time in I think it was D.C. or someplace.
I think so.
And they missed their flight.
But you know what? You can't predict it. When I said unpredictable, we lost 2 days on an Italian vacation because on the front end our flight was canceled, and on the way home it was canceled, and
Yeah.
we missed 2 whole days.
Yeah, then you just have to be flexible
That's the
with what's
flexible.
going on.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about the big one, money and budgeting and planning. We'll be right back on the Dr. Linda Mintle Show.
Whenever I start to sense anxiety, it feels like an old friend of mine that I don't like. Certainly when that happens, I'm asking God to come into this with me with prayer, and also pick up the phone or talk to somebody. It breaks the grip.
When I am faced with unexpected situations, that is one of the big anxiety triggers.
Anxiety? Anxiety's the boogeyman. It jumps out and grabs me when I'm least expecting it. But also, like the boogeyman, it's a creation of my mind, and therefore subject to the Word of God.
When I'm feeling anxious, this is what I do. I pray and I go for a walk.
Anxiety does not have to control your life because God has provided the perfect prescription. Learn how to lean on Him for your peace, your strength, and your hope with Dr. Linda Mintle's new book, Hope and Healing for Anxiety, available wherever you buy your books. Welcome back to the vacation version of the Dr. Linda Mintle
don't
Show.
we wish?
We wish. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about how to take a great vacation and certain things to watch out for. In the meantime, let me remind you that you can check out Dr. Linda's books and blogs, and it's a good thing to take on your vacation.
That's right. You could read.
You could visit her website, Dr. Linda Mintle, drlindamintle.com. And there you can find those books and blogs. You connect with her on social media on X and Instagram at drlindamintle, or on Facebook at Dr. Linda Mintle, author and speaker. And don't forget, her newest book is an anxiety workbook that can help anybody better understand anxiety and know how to eliminate it. It's called Hope and Healing for Anxiety. And there's a link on her website, drlindamintle.com, or anywhere online books are sold. So don't be anxious about your vacation. We're going to help you through that. And if you are, she's got a book for that.
That's right. And you can just read and soak it all in.
That's
while
right.
you're
I
in
love
the
it.
sun.
So I said before the break that we want to talk about one of the important pitfalls, which is if you don't pay attention to the money you're going to spend, because vacations can be extremely expensive.
Yeah, we've been to Disney, so we did that one time
With the
and,
kids,
yeah,
we did.
and other kid-friendly spots.
Sure.
We've done, but it really seems like those places really prey on impulsive spending.
Yes, they do.
And impulsive buying. The souvenirs, the memorabilia, the price of the merchandise, and the food in those parks is so high, Norm.
So high.
I mean, you can rack up a credit card debt quickly.
Oh, yeah.
In those places.
What we found that the average 1 week family at Disney World in Orlando for 5 people is anywhere between $6,500 and $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
Hotels, food,
Wow.
kids going, oh, I want that. I need those Mickey ears. And of course, Grandma and Grandpa are going to buy them for you. So there you go.
And then you're spending months
Paying
that
That's
stuff
right.
off. In a lot of those places, September is actually the most affordable month. And if you say stay off site, so like if you went in September, probably because all the kids are going back to school.
Back to school.
But if you go on an off time like that and then you stay somewhere else, that can really take down the cost of that. But that's money for a down payment on a car.
Oh, my goodness.
And the problem is you really need to wait until your kids are old enough
To appreciate it.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of people at Disney with
Little
really,
tiny.
really young
Yeah.
kids, and they don't actually remember
Yeah.
hardly anything about the trip.
Yeah.
And so you're spending all this money. I mean, I don't want to be a downer about it, but I do think that you have to think about the age of your kids and when they could really get the most benefit from being there.
One time we were in Florida, and I remember we did Disney, we did SeaWorld.
There was a water park. Oh,
There was
SeaWorld
a
I did
water
like.
park.
I did like
The
SeaWorld.
kids loved SeaWorld better than anything
Yeah,
else.
it was much low key.
Except for alligator heaven. We went
Whatever
to some
that was.
alligator little cheesy thing on the side. It was so much fun.
It was.
They just loved that.
And the cheapest thing we did.
The cheapest.
And
by
we
far.
didn't count on it, but we spent the day there, and
Yep.
it was cheesy
Yeah.
in my opinion, but for the kids it was super fun. So just think about that. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to do the really expensive things for kids to have a good time.
I think one of the important things to consider on vacations is to take the screens away. The whole point of
Yeah.
a vacation is to be together with the family, be engaged where you are, learn what's going on, have fun, and it's really hard to do right now.
Yeah, I mean, we know so much more now about the data of what's
Right.
coming out about kids, and especially with preteens and teens.
Hmm.
So that is what we call in development a sensitive time in their development, because their brain is developing and forming. And when you're on screens for a long time, you are not practicing your social skills. You are not learning how to be with other people. You're not paying attention to your surroundings. You're not engaging in creative things and movement. And screens have been showed to cause, like a causal link to anxiety and depression in kids and teens. So you have to make some rules.
Yeah.
When
Set
you're
some
traveling.
boundaries. I agree.
Make them talk to you and engage. Like I've been in the car and I would say, we're going to have a conversation now. We're going to talk. We're going to talk. And you need to have them sometimes put the screens down.
Yep.
And they won't want to do it. So I say part of it is on us. If we just hand them a screen to keep them busy in the car, rather than just think about like 7 and 8 year olds who could sit and talk about what are they seeing, count license plates, look for numbers.
Right. We did
Fun
those games.
games.
We had so many fun games that engaged them in paying attention to the surroundings. Okay, you count white trucks, I'll count red trucks. Let's you count black trucks, and who wins? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the point here is get them off the smartphone,
Yep.
which you should really delay giving a kid a smartphone. There was a great book written by Jonathan Haidt called The Anxious Generation. And if you really want to know what goes on in the wiring of the brain of preteens and teens related to smartphones and how that has completely changed childhood, and not in a good way,
Right.
I would strongly recommend that you get that book. But if you're going somewhere and you're on a beach, make them leave their phones in the house or
Yeah.
the hotel room.
And if you're worried about security, put them in the little safe.
Right.
Every room has a safe. You can lock up the safe, and everybody's stuff is good.
And they're going to have like a little withdrawal from doing that.
Yeah.
They're going to, because it's addictive. Those devices can be addictive, but that makes them, you make them engage when you're doing that and pay attention to the surroundings. And that is really important because one of the things that smartphones has done is it's taken away child play. So kids are no longer out there playing. They're not digging sand castles.
at the beach,
They're not
right.
digging for stuff in the dirt and all that kind of stuff that kids do when they're outside. We used to go down to the ravine and we used to cut these weeds and make forts out of
forts
them.
and sure, yeah.
And that makes you cooperate. It makes you work in a team. Helps you relate to the person in real time, and you can't do that on a phone. So for kids growing up, they really need free play, and a vacation is a great time to do that. They don't need information.
Right.
They need experiences so that their emotional development can be better.
You called something when you talk about play. I've heard you say unsupervised play. What is that, and why do we need that?
Yeah, when you're not supervising it, so you're not helicoptering these kids, right? And you're not jumping in there every time they have some type of issue or something. What it does is it forces kids, when you're not there supervising it, to work things out between each other. Then they learn how to handle their emotions. They read the emotions of the other people. They have to learn how to take turns. They have to resolve conflict in real time. And think about it. They don't do any of those things when they're online.
Right.
None of them.
No, that's true. That's true.
So we got to get back to a child play time and away from this child being on screens time. And it just grieves me when I see it. I saw like a 4-year-old in the Apple store the other day. I was having trouble with my computer, and I saw these parents getting a 4-year-old a smartphone. I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? I didn't say anything, but I wanted to.
Well, we know why, because it's easy
It's
to
a-
stick
it's a
a screen in
babysitter.
front. It's a babysitter.
Yeah.
That's right. You know what?
Yeah.
If you have this rule at home, keep this rule when you're on vacation. No phones at the table when you're eating.
Yeah. Or even sometimes at night playing a game or something, because we're so conditioned. I mean, it's literally classical conditioning where the phone makes a buzz, makes a notification sound. You're going to look at it, and it's going to disrupt whatever the interaction is that's going on. So,
I've heard you talk about attunement. How does that fit in here?
yeah, so we're wired for connection. This is what we're talking about. Our goal is to connect with other people in some type of meaningful way. And devices get in the way of those connections.
disrupt that, yeah.
Yeah. They don't help us read the room. They don't help us watch the other person's reactions or adjust to the moment of whatever's going on in front of us. And that is so important for later self-regulation. So I hear a lot of parents saying, my child doesn't know how to regulate themselves very well. Well, get them off their phone.
Yeah.
Get them off of social media.
Practice real life.
Yeah, because that's just a mindless habit,
Okay.
and that is not going to produce any kind of creativity. It's just going to reinforce conformity, which is another bad trait. We don't want to keep reinforcing conformity. We want kids to be creative
Right.
and have good ideas.
I remember we were on a cruise one time with the kids, and our son lost our family camera.
Yes.
He took it with him. He lost it, and I was all over him in a pretty severe dad way.
Yes.
He organized a Sherlock Holmes
Oh, my
posse.
gosh.
They went out and found the kid who stole it, and they got it back.
And it was all of his organizational skills.
Yeah.
I mean, he used this whole group of people. I was so impressed with what he did.
He was a problem solver.
All right, so kind of another little quick thing I want to say is don't overschedule your vacation either.
Good.
Especially at the beginning when you need a little bit of downtime
Yep.
to sort of recoup from all the travel and everything. Sometimes people tend to just put too much into it, and we need to let kids be bored.
Right.
Just let them be bored. You know, they look at us and go, there's nothing to do. Isn't that great? I just go, isn't that great?
That's what
This is
vacation
called
is for.
Relaxing. Yeah.
We're here to be bored and relaxed. I know. You can always start your day with prayer. You can take hikes and go swimming. You can do all sorts of things that would be important to family and kid development.
You know, I think it's really good to do what you said, even on a vacation, take a moment to pray, do some devotions, be in awe of God's creation.
That's so good.
And pay attention to how God orchestrates everything around you when you're on a trip. If you just point that out, it's going to be good. So basically, take your faith with you on vacation. It should be demonstrated in all you do as you teach your children how to handle challenges, problems, fun, and relaxation. Just find God in the moment.
That's right.
remember his goodness, and take the time to rest and refresh.
That's what a vacation's for.
That's right. Well, that's all the time we have today. Many thanks to my co-host, Norm Mintle, who makes the show a conversation, to our technical producer, Wan Jing Pu, and our editor, Katie Sims-Wilson. Hey, from all of us here at Faith Radio, talk to you next weekend. We're not on vacation.
I wish.
In the meantime, remember, we're doing life together, and it's better when you don't have to do it alone.
Doing life together.
Hey, thanks for listening to this conversation from the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. These conversations are available because of your support. Become a supporter now at myfaithradio.com. Please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes, and share it with friends so we can live life to the fullest, walk confidently, and find healing and hope.